So you can see here the claws. She has a couple moves that use it. This is one of her fast mid strings, and it has a couple options. The second one is a crushing blow if she ends a combo with more than 8 hits, which is pretty easy to do for a ball roll. Then she also has pretty much the core to her mix-up, is this really quick overhead. It has great range, it's safe, it's fast, it's awesome. She does not have like a really like awesome low safe launcher, so she has to commit or just do a low damage after like a sweep. But I think that totally fits your play style. Is you have to be the type of player that's willing to just do a low into the ball roll and just deal low and not worry if they're going to block it. This low here 4-2 has a crushing blow if it's a counter hit, and then she gets a combo, which again goes into kind of a higher risk thing, but good damage if it hits. This is her 4-4, which I wanted to show because I think it's one of her better like mid attacks because it's really easy to hit confirm. And the last thing I wanted to show was her throws, because she has a similar crushing blow to Rambo, where if it's been 10 seconds without jumping or getting hit, she will bite them in the neck. And so this is what I mean by she's kind of the classic move. Side tosses back, really fast. She throws 2 at once and it takes up a ton of space. I think it's a really great projectile. Ball roll is exactly what you'd expect it to be. Super quick, it leads to combos, so she amplifies it. Great whiff punisher. Punishes stuff that's like pushed back on block, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then the teleport kick. So this has a cool new thing where she can amplify it and she goes into a throw, and you can choose which direction to throw her, which this pretty thing is a mobility-based variation. The first thing is she can do her sigh in the air. It's great. She can amplify it to recover faster and get combos. The second thing is she can do a teleport in the air. And this is awesome for like faking out jump ins. And then lastly, she has the low side back from MKX, which was one of my favorite projectiles. And it has a unique crushing blow if it goes under a high and you amplify it. So this really makes her mobility better, and then it makes her counter zoning even better. I think it's the opposite. I think it's a rushdown variation. The first thing is she loses a roll, but she gains this brand new move, the Condom Dash, which I think is pretty awesome. Super quick low, so you can use that in mix-ups. She can go into projectiles. It has an amplify, and it actually has a double amplify. And you can also cancel it. Like you can start to run, hold it down, and then just cancel it and not do the attack and go for a mix-up. And this has a crushing blow. Then she also has a bunch of extra throws at the end of her strings. I think she gets 3 of them. You can see her low gets a new one, and I think this one's definitely the coolest. She gets this grab at the end, and it can actually restand. And then she can get a pretty decent mix-up. And then lastly, she gains a command grab. This move is freaking awesome looking. How is that not the coolest thing ever? This has a crushing blow. This has a crushing blow for punishing a wake-up roll. Knock them down. They don't want to deal with their mix-ups. They're definitely going to deal with their mix-ups. And now they're blind. I was trying to think of a theme and pretty much came up with it's kind of a cornucopia of more stuff. First thing is she gets this special roll, which does extra damage and actually hops in the air, so she can go over stuff. Then she gets invisibility, which is a ton of fun. I mean, you can imagine, Melina's already all over the place. You literally can't even see her. Like, I don't know a scenario more obnoxious than that. And then lastly, she gets a brand new move, which is pretty interesting. She slides her sai across the ground, and she can hold it and decide when she's going to lift it up, and then it'll come back down. The opponent has to guess, are you going to delay it? Are you going to let it go really early? And then it has a crushing blow if it interrupts an opponent. So if they think you're going to delay it, and they try to just attack you out of it, and you didn't delay it, you can go ahead and amplify it. It's going to hit them right in the noggin.
Your head will adorn my throne.
We will have a balance patch. There's a balance patch coming with Ultimate Mortal Kombat 11. But we're not going to go too deep into the woods today. There's some stuff that when we do release the patch notes, you'll be able to see it. That won't be right away. We won't be releasing those right away. So please don't tweet me every 15 minutes about where the patch notes. They'll probably be released near to when the game is released. It won't work, but I'm just
hardcore players are going to be like, oh, fair enough. We'll be patient.
I think I told Honeybee. Was it Honeybee once or someone that like every time they asked me, I was going to move it back 2 hours. So we were still working on finishing all that stuff up. So we're going to tell you a little bit about today. It probably won't be as much as we're not going to tell you as much as you want to hear today.
We are adding custom variations in Combat League and in tournament mode. You will be able to make your own variation and use them in ranked tournament play. Anyway, when you pick your character, a little thing will come up with your variation, and now you can just go into custom, and it's kind of like the abilities screen, so you can go through it. There'll be a few moves that are actually banned from competitive play.
Say variation 2 of Melina. Can I get rid of her run and replace that with the ball?
Yes, which I actually think is probably going to be a pretty popular thing. That's what I've been doing, is using the base variations as kind of a blueprint and then changing out 1 or 2 things. Like Jade's, her variation 1, the zoning one I actually really like, but I like to remove upward razoring and put in amplifying the double kick to keep you in the corner. Like a lot of I think that's actually going to be very common. And the default variations will still be there if you just want to quickly use it. Or I think it'd be great if you're new to a character and you're like, there's like 10 moves. What is going on? There's still like a good way to be like, oh, well, you can kind of get ideas for how you'd like to do it. First one I'd like to talk about is we have adjusted the hit regions, like the hurt box, on crouching characters. And this should help with a lot of inconsistencies and moves going over someone when they're crouching, like mids not hitting, stuff like that. And that's pretty much across the cast. The other thing across the cast is we've taken a look at the down pokes, down 3s, and down 1s. Most characters have had them adjusted. Some have more recovery, some have less. Like Aaron Black's, for example, now have more recovery on blocks, so you can kind of check him with one of your fast mids if you think he's going to mash them. And that's something where when the patch notes come out, you guys can absolutely go. It's going to be like Christmas. The thing is, hop attacks are now immune to down ones until they are done and are recovering. So that's another way that you can beat bow pokes if someone's spamming them. You're kind of taking a risk. It's not the fastest thing to do in the world, but it'll just flat out beat it. So if you want to make the read, that's a good way you can do it. Get up animations are now adjusted to be a couple of frames faster, 4, I believe. So when you get knocked down, you'll basically get up faster. You have similar options, but it'll just be quicker. You are on the ground for less amount of time. And that also goes with what we talked about last time, where get up animation, the delayed wake up, is now just one timing. There's not short and long. It's just kind of a middle ground, and there's a little animation for it too. And I think one last thing I'd like to talk about is a change to fatal blows. 2 things, actually. They, across the board, a lot of them, I think, have less pushback on the block, especially like in the corner situations and stuff like that, to make them a little bit easier to punish on block. And then the second thing, which is very interesting, it's a new mechanic that some moves, we have expanded the window for a flawless block. you'll actually have 6 frames to flawless block a move, and that applies to every fatal blow. So the idea would be, if you know it's coming and you're ready for it, it will be significantly easier to flawless block, and then you get a punish. And this will also apply to other moves, which I guess we can just go straight into that, unless you guys have some thoughts on these changes. Jackie actually has this enhanced flawless block thing with her leap. If you see that she's leaping, you can flawless block it much easier now. Let me put it this way. You kind of got to be ready for it, but it's easy enough. I can do it. The second thing we showed there is her dash punch is now punishable on block. It's -12, so you can get a good jab punish and beat her up.
We know that video where Raiden, yeah.
So Raiden got some punish changes. This move is now actually advantage on block, and it ends in an overhead, and it's really quick. So it's really awesome for mixing up with his back one pressure. And then the Super Volt move is now safe if you charge it for just slightly. And the main reason I wanted to show this is that it's an example of some of the tournament moves that you might want to use would be Aaron Black's low gun is now significantly slower because previously it was like the fastest projectile ever. And another example is Katana's her dancing fan, where she does the Enchantress dance and fans spin around her. That has had a significant change where there's only 1 fan instead of 3 unless she amplifies it. There's just different kind of changes like that with some of the weirder moves in the game that we've looked at.
On November 24th, there will be a race against time where you can actually earn the Ultimate MK3 Melina skin and mask. So if you guys are wondering how you're going to get that, it's going to start off in Race Against Time, so you can earn it that way for free. Starting the 18th, we're going to have some new crypt events coming live that actually have bigger bundles of rewards that I actually are really excited for. And then starting December 29th, we are going to start repeating the Kombat League seasons. So if you weren't able to get in for the Season of Blood because it was X months ago, we're going to bring those back and start those again from the beginning. We're reordering the skins, so if you couldn't get to Demigod in the previous season but you really wanted that skin, it'll probably be a lower ranking, so everybody that wasn't able to get them before hopefully can now. And also, the repeats of the seasons will also have new gear and brutalities and other items for you to unlock as well.